Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Village at Augsburg, our virtual event here this morning. Very happy to see some of you again. You're becoming repeat visitors, which is great. We have a wonderful presentation for you today. As you know, there are so many different kinds of scams that are out there now in our digital world, especially. And we are very fortunate to have Officer Ketterman with us today. And he's actually going to do the entire presentation with a combination of a slideshow and him speaking as well. But we do want this to be interactive, so please send your questions in via the Q&A, and Adrian will be able to get those out and we can get them answered. You may find it's easier to ask the questions when he's on a particular topic instead of waiting until the end of the presentation, and that's fine too. But please make yourself certainly share your questions with us. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update about Augsburg. We are undergoing quite a large renovation project right now. And if you follow us on Facebook, or if you'll see some of those updates occurring there. And if you don't follow us there, I would certainly encourage you to do that, because we do post a lot of information on our Facebook page. We also have a brand new website. It's the same web address that we had before, but at the end of April, we launched our brand new website. So there's a lot more content available to you now on our website, a lot more information. We go a little bit deeper about each of the levels of care here at Augsburg. There are more photos of our apartments. And so I really encourage you to stop by and visit that website if you have an opportunity. And before we get started, I just wanted to let everyone know, if you are attending our webinar today and you stay all the way until the end, I am going to be sending you a gift certificate for a complimentary lunch in our new bistro when it opens in August. You will be welcome back and come in and enjoy lunch. We have a new bistro that's opening with a new menu and extended hours. So we would love to have you be our guest. So you will be receiving that sometime in the next week. We'll get that out to you in the mail or send it in an email. So thank you for your participation with us today. Before we start with Officer Ketterman, we do have a poll question. And Adrian will put that question up, but we would love to know, have you or anyone you know been the victim of a fraud or scam? And if you can just make your selection there, we would love to see what percentage of our guests have been affected in some way.
So we just had someone join. If you would like to answer the poll question that you should see on the screen, have you or anyone you know been the victim of a fraud or scam? We would appreciate your feedback, and we'll get that information to you in just 1 second. Okay, so Suzanne and Officer Ketterman, it looks like we have about 50% of our participants have been the victim of a fraud or scam.
Okay, I think that's probably very average for people, and I bet if we had said, have you, or you said it's someone you know, there's always someone that you know that's been affected. So that's good information for us to have. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce to you Officer Keith Ketterman. Again, he's with the Pikesville Police Department, which is actually our local department here that serves Augsburg. Good morning, Officer Ketterman. We need to turn your mic on. There you go. Okay.
Good morning. I was waiting till you got done.
Okay, thank you. So go ahead and give us a little background on yourself, and then whenever you're comfortable getting started, we are ready for your presentation.
Sounds good. I'm Officer Keith Ketterman. I've been with the Baltimore County Police Department for a little over 25 years now. I work in our community outreach unit. We deal a lot with different communities, businesses, and we deal with crime trends. We do presentations on just about everything. Of course, today is fraud and scams. It's one of my favorite that I do with senior citizens, because a lot of people target senior citizens with a lot of scams and fraud. And the reason is the older generation is very trustworthy, and you didn't have to worry about a lot of that stuff back when you were growing up and younger. But now it's the trend is so bad, where again, because older people are that trustworthy and that nature, they're definitely targeting that generation. So it's definitely something that we try to educate and get that knowledge out to people, and make sure that the main thing, if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. It's a saying that you'll be hearing throughout the presentation. So.
Okay, well, whenever you're ready to get started, I just wanted to add, I think a lot of the, none of us on this call today, I'm going to guess, grew up with the internet or a cell phone. So our information used to be really private, and it's not private anymore. And that has been a big reason why so many scams are, occurring, I think. So I'm going to zip, and I'm going to let Officer Ketterman take over with his presentation.
Sounds good. Did she give me control yet?
So since you have your video, I don't have to give you control. You can just show your video. I have mine set. 1 second.
Are we here? Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
you
just
can
gave
hear
you
me.
control now.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So again, this presentation will be on scams and fraud. So let's go from here.
Seems like we might be having some technical difficulty. Do you have control? I gave you control.
As far as I know,
Oh, there you go.
okay. All right. Something's going on. Let's try it again. We might have to use your presentation.
Okay, yeah,
It is not playing.
okay. 1 second. Okay, folks, this is technology in 2021. Bear with us. We're going to get it together.
if the video doesn't run,
Yeah,
we
that's
may,
what I was about to say, trying to get my audio on.
we may have to pass through the video
Yep.
if it doesn't, not running, and just start with the discussion about scams.
Yep, there you go.
All right, sorry about that. We went over this and it worked the other day, but we'll move on. Couple of types of scams that I'll be talking about today is home improvement scams, telemarketing scams, health care and insurance scams. Of course, one of the big ones, internet fraud, identity theft, credit card skimming, and e-skimming is a large issue that we're having now. Okay, so some of the home improvement scams. Two of the most common is the driveway repair and roofing. There's also painting, plumbing repairs, and one to gain access into your house is free inspections. They'll use the free inspections to get inside to your house to do a distraction, gain access into purses, wallets, personal information. They'll usually try to take 2 people to do that, but they'll do a distraction. Also, if they catch you out in your front yard, you're doing yard work, they'll do the distraction. One person will go and enter the house without you even knowing that anyone's in there. And you usually won't realize it until you go to the store and you go to pay for something and your wallet's not in your purse, or your keys for your car are missing, or credit card statements or credit cards are missing. So it's something to definitely be aware if you're working in your yard. You always want to lock your doors, your house, your front or your back. A lot of people will work out front, leave the front door open so they can have access in and out. And then they move around to your backyard and they forget that their front door is open access to anybody. Driveway repairs. Every spring, there's transient criminals that go up and down the East Coast. And they look and look for people outside. They go door to door. And what they do is they'll say your roof looks like it needs repair, or your driveway. And what they'll do is they'll try to say, hey, this is a great deal. We have materials left over from another job. You know, if we do this today, we can do it for a real good price. They will actually, instead of repaving your driveway or coating it, they'll use motor oil and coat it. They'll use a cheap coating on it, which usually deteriorates within a week or 2 weeks, something like that. They're using stuff that is cheap to them and looks like the driveway will be nice and new. The roofing repair, they'll promise to do a job, or maybe your roof doesn't need to be repaired. So they'll actually say they fix it. They'll take some shingles up, do that kind of stuff. And really it's shoddy work, poor materials. And they're doing this to take advantage of you. So something to be aware of. And rarely will legitimate licensed home improvement contractors come door to door. You'll get a flyer once in a while if a company's doing business or doing some work in the area, but always do your research. Don't make any decisions where you have to right away, as they want a decision right away. And most of the time, I suggest not even talking to people that are coming up soliciting you for business. If you know you need something done at your house, or you need something done in your yard, you solicit the business. You do the background on the business. You talk to friends, you talk to family, and get those recommendations on different companies. I always recommend, definitely do not, anyone soliciting you for work, do not accept that. You do the soliciting for work. You solicit, you look at the businesses, look in the Better Business Bureau. A lot of legitimate contractors, they'll advertise TV, radio. You look in the yellow pages. The internet has plenty of things, but again, Always go back to checking for the Better Business Bureau, look for recommendations. So criminals usually, oh, sorry. Again, the main thing is always be leery of anyone soliciting you for business. Don't let them tell you what you want to do or what you need. If you can see, or always contact a family member. If you see something's wrong with your roof, contact that licensed contractor to go up and take a look at it. Don't trust anyone just driving through your neighborhood to go up and take a look at it, clean your gutters, that type of thing. You solicit the companies. Telemarketing scams. A couple of the common ones: the lottery, the travel scams, charitable solicitations, jury duty scam, and bail bond scam. My thing, if I don't recognize a number, I don't answer it. I let it go to voicemail. If it's that important, they'll leave me a message. Also, if it's somebody I know, they'll leave a message or text me if they really need to talk to me. A lot of times with these, you'll get a call or email, usually from a foreign country, saying you won a lottery. I don't know if you've entered a foreign lottery. I surely haven't, but I've gotten the calls before that I've won, $50,000, but I just need to pay the taxes on that. Once you pay the taxes, what usually happens is you never hear from them. Or what they do is say, oh, wait, we need more money. So they pull you along and try to get more money from you in these scams. So they're promising you $50,000, but you have to pay 5% of that. So once you pay that 5%, you'll probably never hear from them. Or again, they might say this was so easy, they were so gullible, or they expected something for nothing. And I tell people all the time, you're never going to get something for nothing. And anyone saying that you won the lottery, come to my house or let me show up where I entered this lottery. Same thing with people put their names in for different drawings. Those names get funneled throughout, and people call those numbers because they have all your personal information. They have your name, they have your phone number. So they'll call you for the charitable donations. They'll call you for the lottery scams. They'll call you for the travel scams. I get a call all the time. I didn't take my vacation that I was supposed to take. It's $199. It's just the fees for the trip. I get airfare and I get a week away. It's a scam. It's not going to happen. So again, you never get something for nothing, and always know no one's giving out free money. No one's giving out free trips. Now the charitable solicitations, okay. I know we've had complaints before, and we've had people call with it. We got a call for a scam where the sheriff's department or the local law enforcement contacts you and asks for donations. We're not going to be asking for those donations. Any donations that you would like to make to a police department are usually made through our nonprofit division. Every precinct in Baltimore County has a police community relations council. They don't dry call or call anyone either, but they take donations. They're a nonprofit, and they take donations and they support the police department. So definitely don't make any solicitations over the phone to no one you know. They're going to ask for your credit card. You never give any personal information, driver's license information, credit card information over the phone. All it's going to do is cause you a headache, and you're going to have to cancel your credit cards. Your bills are going to go up. They're going to be charging over the internet, and a lot of times it's out of the country, and a lot of it cannot be traced. So again, never give any personal information over the phone. Never give any kind of credit card information, social security information. Okay. the same thing. The bail bond scam is one where they target older people. They'll call and say your grandchild is locked up, and they might pose as a grandchild, granddaughter, grandson. And they'll say, look, I'm in jail, and they'll know your first name or your last name. And they'll say, look, grandma, I'm in jail. I need you to post bail for me. And they'll ask for information. They'll say, look, you have to talk to the bail bondsman. And they'll go on the phone, and you'll talk to them, and they'll try to get your credit card number from you. Also, your granddaughter or grandson, which they aren't on the phone, they'll tell you that, hey, don't tell mom or dad. I don't want them to know. I'll tell them later. So there's been scams where people have fell for this also. Always, if something like that happens, definitely call your kids and ask them about your grandchildren. And never give any personal information over the phone, and tell whoever's on the phone that you're not interested or you're not paying the bail, and hang up. So
I think that the question, or the thought that I have is, if you don't recognize the phone number, don't answer the phone. That's the rule. Don't answer it. They'll leave you a message.
Yep. And I said that previously. I any number that I don't know, I let it go to my voicemail, and if they leave me a message, I'll listen to it. But most of them are, I might get a car warranty phone call. My car warranty is expiring. The same thing. They're scams, and it might not be a scam, but it's more than likely a scam. I don't need an extended car warranty. They call me all the time. You'll get calls for everything. So again, if my whole view is, if you're not soliciting some sort of service from a business, don't let people solicit you. Same thing with the car warranty. Same thing with the travel scams. If I want to travel, I'll do my own research. I'll go to a licensed travel agent, or I go to Costco. They have a travel department. BJ's has a travel department. You can do your own research. So
I would imagine that because there's so much fraud going on, that most organizations don't solicit over the phone anymore anyway. And I'm glad that you did mention the one about the police officers, because I actually do know someone personally, because her husband was a police officer. She got a call. So of course it was supposedly from the police department soliciting funds, and she gave. And of course, It was not it was not the police department.
She should have asked her husband first.
Exactly.
I get those, and I let them talk for a little bit, and I said, well, I appreciate you soliciting for donations, but it's not going to us. I don't know who you're soliciting for, but I am with the police department, and I usually get hung up on. So yeah, definitely. If you want to donate somewhere, if you have a good cause, any hobby or church, or was it the ACP with the animals, anything like that, you choose what you want to donate. Don't let people solicit you for donations. I tell people all the time also, is some of the people you see on the corner soliciting for money, the more people donate to that, the more problems that occur it creates, especially on the roadways where people are begging for money. There's plenty of services out there. We actually approach a lot of these subjects and try to get them help. Most of them don't take it. So if you see people out begging for money on the corner, also, please don't give to them. The more people give to them, the more they're going to be out there. So, and charitable solicitations, your churches, that if you attend churches, and anything you believe in, but you do that research and donate to what you want to donate to. Don't let people force you or coerce you into donating to something that probably is non-existent. Healthcare and insurance scams. All right. There are no Medicare sales representatives that will call you. So remember that. So when they call and they ask, or they say they're with Medicare, 99.9999% of the time, they're not with Medicare. Anyone who tries to sell you Medicare insurance, claim to be an official Medicare agent, definitely is a scammer. And you do not have anyone that tells you you have to join a prescription plan to keep your Medicare coverage is definitely a scam also. Never give information over the phone who says they need it to keep your coverage, your Social Security number, your Medicare number. Never give that personal information out. If you need help, call the 1-800-Medicare. So definitely, again, don't give that information out. And I think it's Medicare prescription plan, drug plan, Part D is voluntary and has nothing to do with the rest of the Medicare services. So that's totally different from the whole Medicare. So just know that. And if you need help or assistance with Medicare, call that number. Don't let anyone talk to you into giving them information or joining for different prescription plans. Just be aware of that. Internet fraud and scams. The most common is phishing, malware, and winning sweepstakes lotteries. I've kind of talked about the sweepstakes lottery. The same thing over the phone, you'll get emails. So I kind of talked about that one, and I'll retouch on that in a minute. The phishing, they use fraudulent emails or texts, okay, or copycat websites to get you to share valuable information. A lot of that is payment information, your log-ons, your ID, your passwords, and they'll tell you to log into your account, and they're watching everything that's going on your screen. They're telling you to log on so it doesn't get shut down. They're phishing for information. They're trying to get you to log into a fake website. I've had it through PayPal myself, and I get emails all the time that my PayPal account is locked. I ignore the emails. I don't open them. I delete them, and I go about my business. And I know when I log into my PayPal account, it's perfectly fine and up and running. So they're trying to get my information and myself to log in with my login information, but it's not even the official PayPal account. It's a copycat website. You have to be careful with all that information that you enter in and you log into your bank accounts, PayPal, any kind of payment service that you might be using. So just remember, always type in www. Whatever the website is, and make sure that a lot of times when they send you a link to click on, it says that, but you have to look at what's at the end, and that's telling you really where you're going, is that last part of that link, and it'll say something different. So it says PayPal, but behind it, it's another link that gives them access to everything. It's a fake website, copycat website. So just be aware of that. Malware is when someone sends you an email containing malware. So as soon as you open it, you've opened the malware, and now it's on your computer. So they can basically track and get information from your computer without even downloading something. But a lot of times they will ask you to download an update, but that doesn't always have to happen, because a lot of times as soon as you open that email, it downloads that program or that malware to your computer. If you're ever using a public computer, maybe at the library, don't log on to any banking sites, any sites, Amazon, or if you're ordering stuff, anywhere, Best Buy, Home Depot, and you're putting credit card information in or payment information, never use a public computer for any of that stuff, because that is recorded through Baltimore County, and I'm sure anybody walking into can get that information being a public computer. I talked about the winning sweepstakes and lottery. The same thing is you'll get an email saying you won lottery, and they'll ask for bank account numbers, a credit card number to wire you the money. They're not wiring you the money. They're taking your money. So never put in any bank account information on any email that is asking for that information because you won some sort of sweepstakes or lottery. It definitely is a scam, and please be aware that if it sounds too good to be true, it definitely is, and that goes for just about everything in life. And I tell people that all the time. If it sounds good to be true, it is. Again, you're not going to get something for nothing. You're not going to win a lottery and you got to pay $500 and you get 50,000 or whatever. It's not going to happen like that. So just be aware.
So Officer Ketterman, the last year, people have been home more and purchasing more things online. So what I've noticed for myself is that I will order something, and these are legitimate, through Amazon or a legitimate website. And every once in a while, you always get confirmation of your purchase. You always get, maybe another email that says it's on its way and you can track it here. What I've started to see is that I will get another email that says something like, thank you for your order. It starts out like, thank you for your order, and just click here to tell us about your satisfaction. But it's really has nothing to do with my order.
No.
And these things are coming more frequently now. So I think, for all of us to be aware that we're so dependent on using online purchasing and email communication with family who are out, family and friends that aren't living nearby. And I'm seeing just an increase in the volume of these kind of things that are emails that are coming to me just from online purchases.
Definitely. And again, the more people are home, the more they're on their computers, the more they're susceptible to these scams, opening up different websites. And I know myself, I get so many emails. I think I was showing somebody, I think I had 200 and some thousand emails in my Yahoo account. If I don't know the email, I don't open it, and I usually don't erase it either. I've been known to keep my work emails also until I got an alert that my work email couldn't go any further because I had too much saved. I always like to have those emails in case something does happen. But I recommend it if you're not looking, like if you have emails that you don't know who it is and it looks like a scam, just delete it right away. I have emails from all different things. I just don't even open them and I don't even look at them. It would be easier to go and delete them, but when you're getting 50 to 100 emails a day that are more like advertisements and things like that, I just don't have time to go through. But if you have the time, delete them all after you read them. If they're personal ones, you can save them. But if they're ones that you don't know who they're from, don't open them. That's the one thing with the malware.
Personal ones also can be fraudulent because I've had a number of friends whose computer email has been, compromised. And all of a sudden I'm getting emails from people whose address I know the name of them, and it will say, I sent you something, from via Dropbox, click on this link. Yep. So I don't click on it. What I do is I send an email to that person and say, hey, did you just send me something to open up via Dropbox? And 99% of the time, they're going to say, absolutely not. So I just tell people, it's just like with answering the phone. If you don't know who it is, and even if it's a name you recognize, if there's something that looks just suspicious to you, never click on links and emails from anybody. At this point, I don't trust that's just how I am. My husband had a very bad experience with an email. And he was at the point of sitting at his computer, getting ready to upload his driver's license to somebody who was probably in some foreign country before I pretty much, threw myself across the keyboard for him to stop information in. But it looks so legitimate. It looks so legitimate. It's you have to really be careful and read things, and don't just click on everything.
Definitely. Again, you should never upload or download anything on an email, or click links that forward you to another website. Again, those websites are probably fraudulent, and they're trying to get that information from you. So that person that sent your husband the email, that other person was probably a victim of a scam where they'll say they're Microsoft support, and they'll get into your computer and have access to anything you have on your computer. So all the emails, they'll download all that stuff as quick as they can and all that information, and they will have it and use it and go through it. They'll have your bank account information. They'll have all your emails. So then they'll send those emails out to everyone on the list, the Dropbox, and then that gives them access to, that's the malware that goes on the computer, gives them access to all those other people that could have hit that Dropbox and opened the Dropbox to see what I sent you. So that's probably what happened with your husband. So. Counterfeit prescription and drugs. Okay, that's something that we all should be aware of. They'll tell you they're cheaper than the ones you're paying for now. They're largely fake. They might not even be real. It could be they're just trying to get your insurance information and credit card number to gain access and either get you these drugs that aren't real and take your money, and because they're cheaper than the real drug that maybe you possibly are on, but they're trying to get that information. Then you have the insurance fraud it could lead to, and then of course your credit card, them getting that credit card information, and a lot of times what they'll do is they'll charge it over and over until your credit limit is reached. Fake anti-aging products. All right, we're definitely, they use this to get money out of the elderly. If there was something out there like the Fountain of Youth, we could all use it, but there really isn't. Advertisements for fake Botox, creams, and other anti-aging products. There's stuff that helps, but again, do your research. You solicit that stuff. Don't believe anything you read on the internet that is selling the anti-aging creams, products. Look for reputable websites that you can do research on those things before you do anything. Again, there's no Fountain of Youth, and I don't think I can look any younger with any kind of creams or anti-aging products. It is what it is these days. Sweetheart scams. They target elderly people that are single. You meet somebody online, they'll try to reach out online, fall in love before you guys ever met. They start asking money to help solve debt problems so they can come meet you. There's people in different countries that do this also. I don't know if anyone's watched Dr. Phil. You see the stories about these scams where the person has sent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to this person, and they've never met them in person or never met them at all. So definitely realize that no one should be soliciting you for money if this is someone you're in love with online, and never send any money to anyone. Credit cards, numbers, money, anything. Always talk, and also consult friends, consult your kids if you have kids. Definitely do not believe or do not send any money to anyone that you meet online, and they'll string you along, and they might be talking to a whole bunch of different people at the same time, sending these same emails or same letters to multiple people. And if they send 100 emails or 1,000 emails and they get 2 people to send money, they're doing pretty good, because all it's a click of a mouse to send those emails, and talking back and forth. Employment scams. They take advantage of offering job listings that aren't real. They'll ask you to submit an application with Social Security information or other personal information. Don't ever send information, or like I said, if you want a job, you solicit the companies or businesses you want to work for. Don't let people solicit you for those that information or job listings. You do the research, look online, and do it that way. Free vacations. Again, we talked about this. Vacations ever free? If it sounds good to be true, it probably is. You're not going to get a free vacation or money. They're just trying to get money and information from you so they can use that to their benefit. So, identity theft prevention. You can place fraud alerts on your accounts. You can place a credit report security freeze. Take advantage of your free credit reports. You got the 3 credit agencies. You can get a report every 90 days. I think you can do 3 of them throughout the year. So you can look at those. There's a couple of different websites, Credit Karma, things like that. You can monitor your accounts online, bank accounts, credit card accounts. You can enroll on the credit monitoring. Again, some of them cost money, so you have to be aware of that. Did you have something? Keep your Social Security number safe. I recommend everyone having a safe. I can tell you, I have a safe. My wife has a safe. Everything that I have in my wallet, all my credit cards, bank cards, I have my insurance cards. I have a photocopy of the front and back of each card, which gives you the account number and gives you the 1-800 number. If you were to ever lose your wallet or your purse, or could be stolen, you could always go home, go into that safe that you have, and that copy of all that stuff you have are in there. So you can call all your credit card companies. You can call your bank account. You can call Medicare and say, look, my Medicare card was taken. I need a new one. I need to cancel that one. Your credit cards, your bank cards, all those things you have to be aware of and try to keep safe. Your Social Security number, your Social Security card should not be kept in your wallets, should not be kept in your purses. I know my mother, she has everything but the kitchen sink in her purse. And I've told her over and over about photocopying the front and back of those cards. She has the Kohl's, she has the Shell, she has Macy's, you name it. She has it, Visa, MasterCard. So I try to even, your loved ones, your family members, let them know, look, photocopy everything you have in your wallet or purse and put that somewhere safe. And I recommend having a safe to keep that in. Your Social Security card should be kept in that safe. Any valuables. A lot of people have safe deposit boxes. Same thing. You could have those there. My thing with, if you lose your purse or your wallet, you have to have access as soon as possible to cancel those credit cards. If people steal your purse or your wallet, they're going out right away and they're making those purchases. They're hitting the Targets, they're hitting the Walmarts, they're hitting the Best Buys, and they're making purchases and purchases until that card doesn't work.
Just interject something.
Yep.
that I run into, not frequently, but enough that it sticks in my mind. When someone is moving to Augsburg, we have a lot of paperwork that we require, and we also often have people come in and we need to make photocopies of their driver's license and their Medicare card and their insurance information. And I see people, and it's usually women, who carry, like you said, every identifying piece of paper that they were ever issued. They have them in little Ziploc bags,
Mm-hmm.
them in their wallet, and they get to the table and they just dump everything out. And all their cards are there. I've been in a grocery store behind an older woman who couldn't find her credit card to pay her groceries. And she did the same thing. She just dumped every card on the counter. And I just dove on top like, no, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so important also to only carry what you need for that appointment. Don't bring, if you're going to the doctor, you need your insurance card, but do you need to carry it all the time? There's things there, I just see the same patterns in people, and it makes me nervous for them, because if they drop that purse or they leave it for 1 second somewhere on the cart in a grocery store, open, I see this all the time. I'm going over here to get some lettuce. I'm just going to leave no, it's just too dangerous.
Yes, and we've had that happen at our local grocery stores, where they'll do a distraction to people and they'll say, hey, do you know anything about this? And they'll get usually it's a female, older female, and they'll get them to come over and look at a certain product in the freezer aisle or one of the aisles, and the other person is reaching into their purse and taking just their wallet out. And the only time they realize is when they went to pay and their wallet's gone. And they're thinking, did I bring it? And then by that time they're home looking for it. They couldn't pay for their groceries, and they've had all this time to go and charge up any credit card that you've had in your purse. So I definitely only carry what you need. I tell my mom all the time when she goes shopping, I said, just take your license and your bank card and credit card, whatever you need. But of course, she needs everything in her purse, is what she tells me.
One thing are there any particular scams that are highly prevalent in the Baltimore area? Are there things that you are seeing more commonly than others?
We've had a few in our area where they'll approach people outside of a bank saying they just found money. It's a scam. And they'll say, I've talked to my lawyer, and it's called a pigeon drop scam. Well, that's what they named it, where they'll say, we found a large sum of money, and they'll open up a bag and you'll see money on top. And then it's usually shredded paper inside. But we need to pay the taxes on this lump sum, or pay the fee to the lawyer, so we can actually have good claim of this money. And then they'll have the person, they usually target an older person, and they'll go in and get $1,000, and they'll say, oh, we got to pay the taxes on it, so it might be $2,000, whatever amount they make up, and then we can share this money, and you can hold it as collateral. So what they'll do is they'll do the good faith thing of, here, you go in and get the taxes for it, you give me the money, and I'm going to go pay the lawyer, and here's this lump sum, you hold on to it, and I'll be back or I'll meet you if you want to give me your address, or I'll meet you back here in a half an hour. And they never see them again. And then they open it up, and it's usually either fake money. They now sell, well, they've always sold it, but they have the Hollywood money, which is made for the movies. And they're $100 bills. It looks real, but it says on there that they're not. But also they'll have a bag full of shredded money or shredded paper, and then maybe a few real dollars on top, and then they're out, $2,000, $4,000. Another one of the scams that I thought was interesting, and you'll get them, the telephone scam for the IRS, saying that they're going to send the police and come lock you up if you don't pay your back taxes. It's one I forgot to mention, and it's an important one. I know a victim that went and got $14,000 in gift cards from Walgreens, Visa cards. Now, I know I just went to, I think it was Walgreens or one of the stores And it came up when I was purchasing a gift card and the amount I put on there. And there's a thing pop up on the screen that I had to hit yes to, and it was talking about fraud, gift card fraud. And I think it was Walgreens that I went to, and I did that. But this gentleman that got scammed, he got the call from the IRS. He moved over from Israel. He was scared. He worked in the area, and I knew him personally. So he panicked. He took that $14,000 from a safe, which was his salary for so many months from the business that he worked for. And he went and purchased $14,000 in gift cards, called the people back and gave them all the numbers on the front of the gift cards and the back. So that $14,000 is gone, and we can't trace it anymore. So the IRS is not going to send the police to come lock you up. Do not give any kind of going out, buy gift cards or any kind of credit cards. Do not give any personal information out if they say they're IRS and they're going to come lock you up. Tell them you'll be waiting at the front door and hang up. But they're not going to be coming. So.
Well, we're coming up on noon, and I want to make sure that you get through the rest of your presentation. Here.
All right. So you can stop pre-approved credit card offers, any kind of offer. You can opt out them for 5 years or permanently. There's a number down at the bottom of the screen, opt out prescreen.com or the 1-800 number. A lot of those pre-offer for credit cards, or if you have credit cards, you might get the packet with the blank checks in there. If someone steals that, they can write a check and it goes against your credit card. The good thing is with a credit card, it's not from your bank account. And I tell people also, and I'll tell you, I think let's go to the next screen. I'll talk about the e-skimming, the credit card skimming. Since we're coming up on 12, you're going to get gas. When you go to get gas, you're filling up your card. Always play with a credit card, not your bank card. There's skimmers that they can put on these gas pumps. Whenever I go to an ATM or a gas pump, I always sit there and I grab the where you slide your card in, and I shake it to see if any parts are loose, to see if that is a fake device on there to capture all your credit card information. And the reason I say to use a credit card and not a bank card, again, it's been known that they can put these devices inside the machine also, so you can't even tell that device is capturing your credit card information. And what they do is they'll capture that credit card information, and they'll go start using that information at different stores. They'll take, John's information and put it on Jack's information. So Jack is going to do all these fraud information. So when they check his ID and they check his card and ID match, but it's your credit card account that is the money's actually came from, because they're taking that information that's captured from that skimmer on that gas pump or ATM. They're capturing that information and putting that information, transferring it onto Jack, who's the criminal, is card. So when they go to use it, or if they want to check ID, which most places don't, they can see that they match, and there's no questions asked usually. So check for the loose parts on the ATMs and gas pumps, and just realize that, you got to be careful. And again, sometimes they put these devices inside. So don't use a bank card. So if you use your bank card and they skim and get that information, guess what? That can drain your bank account. If you use your credit card, yes, they can charge up your credit card, but that's usually taken care of, and it's not clearing out a bank account. And you can dispute all those charges. You can still dispute the charges on your bank account, but that can still take days or weeks, because that drains your bank account. That's the money you have. So definitely with that kind of information, use a credit card anytime you're out for gas, even restaurants. Same thing, when your credit card goes out of your site or your bank card, it's not a good thing. So use that credit card. If you don't want to use a credit card, use cash. This is just an example of what they do is you see the one on the left, the gas card credit skimmer, they'll put it right over top of the other one. It captures your data. You can still get gas, but it's capturing your data, your credit card information and stuff like that. The ATM down on the right-hand corner, you can see it looks like it's like an M&T bank machine, but it's really not. But it's the same thing where they'll take the device that goes over the keypad, it's recording your PIN. And the other one is recording the information that's on that credit card. So they put them together, sometimes they'll put cameras up and catch that information also. So just be aware anytime you go and pump gas or go to an ATM, shake the device that you put your card in and make sure it's not loose. And if it is loose, go inside and tell them to call the police. Do you think there's a skimmer on that gas pump or ATM?
How often do gas stations check their own equipment to see if these things are on them?
I'm not sure how often they check. I know we've had it here on Reisterstown Road in Pikesville. And it's been more than once. So the safest bet, and I don't recommend people carrying cash anyway, just because it gives you, if you're pulling out a lot of cash, you have a lot of cash on you. That's why I always recommend the credit card and not a bank card for any time you're doing any kind of restaurant purchase where that card goes out of your site or at a gas pump. Always use a credit card. The e-skimming. The hacker inserts malicious credentials, stealing software into a retailer's website. I know Home Depot was hit with that. There's a lot of retailers that have been hit with that. And a lot of times you'll get something in the mail from that company saying that you can have credit monitoring services because of that hack. So just be aware, it's not just what you're doing, it's the company also. A lot of these companies, they're getting hacked or skimming from the website. If you're purchasing through a website, it captures that information. So always monitor your credit card accounts, your bank accounts, to make sure all your purchases were legitimate and you recognize them. And make sure the websites, if you're purchasing through a website, that you look and say, okay, the trusted websites, look for HTTPS at the beginning, and that's usually it's pretty secure. A lot of them will come up with a lock, if you can see it up on the top there. Just be aware of that. There's fake websites, or like I said, if somebody's gained access to their website, they're getting that information also at the same time. They're stealing your information as you're paying for something. So just be aware of that also. Any questions?
Lots of good information. I feel like this is a topic that you could, there's so many layers to it, and there's so many discussions that could be had from, each of these areas. And there's other things that are becoming, are very hot button topics. But I think that everything that you shared was so valuable for all of us. And just making people aware that we really do have to be responsible in terms of giving out information. It seems like we just live in a digital world now, and everybody wants everything over over an email or, and I think there's just a need for sometimes you have to just step back and be like, is this really something, and not be afraid to question it. when we're doing admissions here at Augsburg, especially for independent living, we're not going to ask you to see your social security card. We may have to have your social security number at some point, but there's just a lot of personal information that people seem to be getting requests for. And with more and more internet access and people being dependent upon using social media and all those things, it just puts you at greater risk. So I think all the things you touched on were very, very helpful.
Definitely, and there's more and more and more things that we could talk about with fraud and scams. Anything that they'll try to get that money, the criminals, they'll do. And if it works, then they're going to do it more and more and more. So it's just something, if it's one of the things, if it sounds too good to be true, it definitely is. That's a saying that you can never forget. You're not going to get something for nothing. And never have people solicit you for work. You solicit people for the work that you need done. You don't let them solicit work they tell you that you need, and it gets these con artists and scammers. They're very convincing. They're they once you're telling them no, they get mad. We get calls here at the station for scams, and I'll keep them on the phone just to keep them on the phone here for the auto warranty. They'll call our police station in my office. And I'll keep them on the phone just so they can't call somebody else and possibly get a victim of a crime. Same thing on my personal phone. I do the same thing. And because I know it's a scam, if I keep them busy, they're not out there trying to scam somebody else.
Yeah. And I think it's always, tell your family, if you think you've been a victim of a scam, report it to the resources. And you've given some websites here that people can use to get, your credit report. It's really important, to have check that regularly, or at least if not once a year. If you're doing your taxes or you just did your taxes, that's a great time to, check your credit report. Well, thank you very much, Officer Ketterman. We're going to see you here next month at Augsburg. Officer Ketterman's coming to do a presentation for our residents here on June 2nd, I believe. So hopefully by August or September, Augsburg will be open again for in-person events. We've been kind of in that virtual world for the last year. And once our renovation project is complete, we're going to be having our events in person once again. So stay tuned for all those invitations that'll be coming out. And again, thank you to everybody for joining us today. You will all be receiving a gift certificate from Augsburg for a complimentary lunch in our new bistro when it opens up later this summer. So you'll get that either in an email from me or Adrian, or it'll come in the mail. It will be legitimate. And
not a scam.
Not a scam. It'll be a real certificate for lunch. So thank you everyone for your time today. Thank you again, Officer Ketterman, for spending an hour or so with us. I hope you all stay well. I hope you all stay safe, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.